Good evening and thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachuku and these are the top stories. Peter Obi gives condition to be vice president in 2027. Monday, Okwebolo sued for alleged age falsification. APC chieftain alleges Tinubu's government running multiple budgets. Omoyele Sowore knocks Tinubu's government. 20-year-old narrates how he killed Kogi Varsity student for money ritual. Details now. The 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, has said he would not mind collaborating with other politicians ahead of the 2027 election. Speaking via an interview with News Central, Peter Obi said he was ready to collaborate with any politician, including the former presidential candidate of the New Nigeria People's Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. He, however, noted that the focus of such collaboration must be on helping the citizens and not just to win elections. When asked if he could be the vice president of any other politician, Obi said if he sees anyone who can do it better than him, he can be the vice president, adding that he is not desperate to become the president of Nigeria. Let's take a brief listen to that aspect of the exclusive interview that Mr. Peter Obi had with News Central.
I'm not desperate to be Nigerian president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. If I see people who can do the work better, I will. I've even had people who said I should not come out in 2027. And I said to them, offer yourself. And we will not put everybody on a scale. If they are better, I'll vote for them.
But would you stay with Labour Party in the next election if you're contesting?
Well, yes, I will be here. And if anybody is coming for us to negotiate or come together, you must tell me what you propose. I will not join anybody for state capture or for winning election. I want anybody to tell me how are we going to ensure that no child is left behind. How are we going to put those millions of out-of-school children back in school? How are we going to create jobs?
Would you say yes to Kwankwaso joining you as collaborators to make sure that you have the support of the North and the South? Would you
We must first establish what we are going to achieve by that coming together. Collaboration is not just going to be for state capture and continue the same consumption. So if it is collaboration for production, we will.
So
we want to dismantle the two biggest jobs in Nigeria is what I want to dismantle.
So your answer to Kwankwaso collaboration and coming together will be a yes?
To anybody who wants to move Nigeria from consumption to production. For anybody who wants to pull people out of poverty, bring out-of-school children into school, and make it productive. Yes. But anything short of that, I'm not a part of it.
Thank you so much. There are so many questions that I would have loved to answer.
You just listened to a brief excerpt of Peter Obi during an exclusive interview with the News Central Television, speaking on when he was asked on collaborating with other political party presidential candidates, and you just listened to his response. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Edo State governorship candidate Monday Okwebolo has been sued for alleged age falsification. The suit was filed by a People's Democratic Party chieftain, Honesty Agimbase, at a magistrate court in Abuja. According to Daily Nigerian, Monday Okwebolo was charged with alleged forgery and perjury. In the suit filed on Thursday, he claimed there were discrepancies between the birth dates on the nomination forms and other documents submitted by the APC governorship candidate to the Independent National Electoral Commission. In the suit, Agimbase also alleged that the APC candidate's date of birth on his West African Examination Council certificate State and the one on his voter card did not match. Agimbase alleged that Okpebholo's 2023 Senate nomination form has his birth date as March 29, 1970, while his 2024 governorship nomination form has his birth date as August 29, 1970. The PDP chieftain also claimed that Okpebholo's West African Examination Council has August 29, 1972 as his birth date. Mr. Agimbase further alleged that Okpebholo has August 1, 1977 as his date of birth on his voter card. Now, a former National Vice Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Salihu Lukman, has raised concerns about the financial operations of President Bola Tinubu's administration, claiming that multiple budgets are being managed concurrently. Speaking via a Monitor television program, Lukman, a vocal critic of the current government, alleged that the simultaneous running of different budgets could potentially escalate corruption in the country. However, Lukman did not provide specific data to support his assertion. Lukman also criticized the ruling party's inability to address the nation's pressing issues, particularly security. He noted that despite the APC's initial promises to tackle corruption, revive the economy, and improve security, the situation has deteriorated under the current administration. Furthermore, he expressed disappointment in Tinubu's leadership, suggesting that the current administration does not reflect the same approach he had when leading Lagos. In another development, human rights activist and convener of the hashtag Revolution Now movement, Omoyele Sowore, has reacted to a directive from the Department of State Services ordering his arrest upon his arrival in Nigeria. The activist is currently in the United States with his family. Earlier reports had indicated that the secret police ordered Sowore's arrest immediately he lands in Nigeria. VOP News gathered that the directive issued by the newly appointed DSS Director General Adeola Ajayi stemmed from Sowore's role in the recent 10-day End Bad Governance protest. However, the former presidential candidate of the African Action Congress lambasted the DSS for issuing the command. He asserted that it is unfortunate that President Bola Tinubu's administration has demonstrated inability to track and arrest the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, but has been effective in hunting down those calling for good governance and standing against hunger and hardship inflicted on Nigerians. Speaking via X, he mocked the DSS for upgrading his status on his watch list. Elsewhere, the Kogi State Police Command has paraded 4 suspects in connection with the killing of Damilola Olowoyo, a 19-year-old 100-level student at the Federal University Lokoja, Kogi State. The 4 suspects paraded are Jeremiah Paul, Emmanuel Otitoju, Barnabas Ulubenga, and Ajayi Basit Ayomide. Parading the suspects at the police headquarters in Lokoja today, the police public relations officer, SP William Ovie Aya, noted that the prime suspect, Jeremiah Paul, lured the deceased to the bush and killed her for money ritual. You're currently listening to the World News at 6 right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into a news analysis segment. This time around, I have right here in the studio Mr. Peter Anosike. Mr. Peter Anosike is now is a political analyst, social affairs commentator, and one of the best-selling authors in Africa. Do kindly stay with us. All right, thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Mr. Peter Anosike, good evening, and thank you for joining us on the World News at 6. Mr. Peter Anosike, let me start off with this exclusive interview that was held by the former Anambra State Governor, and that's the person of Mr. Peter Obi. Now, I'm sure I don't know if you listened to the entire exclusive interview that, he had with the MD director of that particular television station, but there's quite a lot to actually pick out from there. Ever since that interview, I would say Peter Obi has actually been trending on X, and I would say that there have been a lot of back and forth concerning his response to some of the questions. I played a response to the question that was asked by that managing director on that exclusive interview, and one of the questions I was asked is, are you looking at having a merger, a collaboration with maybe a Kwankwaso and all of that? And I'm sure you listened to what Peter Obi's response is. So the question is, what is the hula baloo? What is causing the problem? Why the response from a lot of quarters that, okay, Peter Obi is asking for a vice presidential slot, or that he's beginning to change his mouth?
Well, I want to say that those ranting are not.
You are distracting. Continue, please.
I want to say that those that are making those statements are not intelligent.
Okay.
They are because P2B showed who he is. Understand me? P2B showed his character in that interview.
Okay.
Because there are two things which everybody should be guided by: character and reputation. Character is who you are, and reputation is what people think about you. So P2B had this thing in his interview. One, we know that he's not a very desperate person. P2B is a very comfortable person. When P2B was addressing Fidelity Bank Board of Directors as the chairman, when he was notified that he has won at the Supreme Court to become the governor of Anambra State after Ngige had been there for 3 years, 2 months. P2B said, let me go and complete the remaining 8 months.
Okay.
It was Femi Falana that said, no, that's not how it works. Your 4 years starts from the day you are sworn in, so that he's going in for a full 4 years and not to complete Ngige's tenure.
But in that particular interview, what he meant by having to consider a collaboration, according to him, it's not about being the president of Nigeria. He's not desperate to be a president, if you had listened to his response. But
that's where I'm going.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
He said that he's going to complete the remaining 8 months that's of Ngige. That shows he's not he's not desperate for power.
Okay.
And that has been who he is up to today. He said that he's not interested in state capture, that he's not interested in winning an election, but the well-being of the people. And if you are interested in the well-being of the people, you'll be ready to serve even as a local government chairman. If you are ready to serve the people, if what is in your mind is to serve, you'll be ready to serve at any capacity, even as a local government chairman. So this is what P2B was demonstrating.
Okay.
That this is not about me, it's about Nigeria. It's about the betterment of Nigeria, and I'm ready to serve at any capacity.
So when he was asked if he could collaborate with Kwankwaso, and this is his response, I played the audio here. He says, I am ready to collaborate with anyone who is interested in lifting people out of poverty. If the collaboration is for state capture or just to win election, I will not be part of it. I will not join anybody for state capture or for winning the election. I want anybody to tell me how we are going to ensure that no child is left behind, and how we're going to put those millions out of school children back in school. Now, here is the crux of the matter, all right? a lot of his supporters and those who are not his supporters, there have been quite a lot of allegations. I'm sure you know that of the camp of Reno Mokri. I think Reno Mokri has taken it upon himself to ensure that any form of negative news or whatever concerning Peter Obi, he'll be the flag bearer for that. He said, quite frankly, for me, I am not desperate to be Nigeria's president. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work. If I see people who can do the work better, I will. I even have people who say I should not come out in 2027. This was based on the question that was asked to him if he considers being the vice president of any other politician. And he says if he sees someone that can do it better. So what is wrong with that response?
What Obi said separated him from the APC people.
Okay.
Because APC members are only interested in state capture.
Okay.
They're only interested in winning election and never the well-being of the people.
Okay.
So Peter Obi spoke like a statesman.
All right.
If you can do it better than me, fine and good, I'll support you.
Yeah, his supporters are saying that it's not true. He never said he would be a vice president. It's not something that he's all about. It's an untrue statement. What does collaboration mean? What does it mean when you say, if I see someone who can do it better, why not? I can collaborate with the person. I can work with the person. So what is wrong, if at all, he made such a statement?
There could be getting it. There's a saying that only the deep can call the deep. How many Nigerians have that debt? How many Nigerians have that debt? If your interest is the welfare of the people. If your interest is on service, you'll be ready to serve at any capacity. You must not dictate where you will serve. And if you see somebody who is better than you, you sit at the bench and let that person go. That's how a statesman thinks.
Do you see Peter Obi having a measure with any other political party ahead of 2027? Because a lot of talk on this is the fact that the only way the APC can be upstaged in 2027 is if there is a mega collaboration between other political parties merging as one, and that's the only way they can upstage. Because he was asked again if he has any plans of leaving the Labour Party, and he said, yes, I would be here. And if anybody is coming for us to negotiate or to come together, he must tell me what his purposes are. This was a question that he was asked by the managing director of News Central, if at all he intends to leave the Labour Party. And he said that he has no plan of leaving the Labour Party. But there's a question, a major question of having a political ground ahead for 2027. And a lot of political stalwarts like yourself are saying the only way the APC will be shifted out is if there is a merger. What's your take on that?
It took a collaboration to push PDP out.
Okay.
In 2015.
Okay.
It will also take a collaboration to push APC out in 2027. So PDP cannot do it alone. SDP cannot do it alone. Labour Party cannot do it alone. It will. They say people united can never be defeated.
Okay.
So for APC to be shoved out for good in 2027, it must need the people coming together. It must need a collaboration. Peter Obi knows that LP alone cannot do it.
Okay.
Atiku knows that PDP alone cannot do it. Kwankwaso knows that NNPP alone cannot do it. It took five parties that came together to shove PDP out.
Right.
It will also take a collaboration of some parties to take APC out.
Now, there's a thing in the collaboration of these parties. Atiku Abubakar of the PDP wants to be president. He still has that intention to be president. Rabiu Kwankwaso wants to be president. Peter Obi has said he's not desperate to be a president. It doesn't mean that he's not open to collaborating with anybody who has that interest.
Peter Obi is a philosopher and the other people that you mentioned are not.
All right, so here is the thing. So if these parties merge or these individuals merge to form a party, who do you think will fly the flag?
Well, they are to decide. They are to decide. And when they take that decisions, Nigerians will now vote.
Okay.
But I still maintain that the best ticket that we have had in this country from 1960 to today is Atiku Obi 2019.
Atiku Obi at that time, Atiku was the president and
Yeah.
Peter Obi was the vice.
That remains the best ticket, and if the enemies of Nigeria had allowed that ticket to stand, Nigeria would have gone beyond South Africa to become the #1 economy in Africa.
What do you think made that ticket to fail?
It was rigged.
It was rigged.
It was rigged.
The election was rigged.
It was rigged.
That was why Atiku and Peter Obi did not emerge.
It was rigged.
So why do you think Peter Obi now left the PDP to join the Labour Party if there is a proposition of something like that taking place again?
What is his name? Nyesom Wike was instrumental to Peter Obi going out of PDP. It was Nyesom Wike's selfish ambition that pushed Peter Obi out of PDP. Then, if Kwankwaso, Atiku and Peter Obi come into a condition or an agreement, I'm talking from reality.
Okay.
Understand? I'm talking from what happens in the political system. In politics, a small fish cannot swallow a big fish.
All right.
So since Atiku Abubakar is the highest political office holder among them, there's no way Atiku can step down for Peter Obi or for Kwankwaso.
All right, Mr. Nosike, I want you to listen to this before I ask my next question, because it's important we talk with facts so people do not say that VOP 90.3 is all about propaganda or false information. So let's briefly take a listen to this.
Significant public debate. What would you have done differently? Because I remember you did say that from day one, you say subsidy is gone. What would you have done?
I didn't say from day one. I said I would remove subsidy.
You remove it.
You know, I didn't say from day one, and I wouldn't have done it
from day
just.
one.
Our question has to do with the issue of removal of fuel subsidy. Considering that this current administration has said that by June 2023, the subsidy will be removed. Is it going to be your priority in your first 100 days in office? How sustainable is subsidy to the Nigerian economy? Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. But I can assure you, it will go immediately. Subsidy, I've said it before, is organized crime. And I cannot allow it to stay a day longer.
Significant public debate.
All right, Mr. Nosike, I'm sure you heard that particular statement. The reason why I played that soundbite is the fact that, again, this is a conversation that is ongoing, is trending. Like I told you earlier, that Reno Omokri has taken it upon himself to always mudsling Peter Obi at any opportunity.
Omokri has no job. He had no job. He's a beggar.
All right.
He is begging Tinubu for money and for appointment.
Okay.
What is he doing? Where's his office?
Okay.
He's a beggar.
Okay. So again, before we look into that, he's trying to talk about the fact that the fuel subsidy removal, all the presidential candidates said they were going to remove it. Peter Obi, Tinubu, as well as Atiku. And now, according to what Reno Omokri is disclosing, he's saying that Peter Obi is being inconsistent because right now he's saying that he wouldn't have been able to remove it immediately. There would have been other measures put in place to cushion the effect. But during the campaign at the time, when he was going on his media rounds, he had advocated that would be one of the things he would do first. So right now, what Reno Omokri is peddling is that Peter Obi is not being consistent in his utterances. What's your take on this?
Esther, for God's sake, there are people that I don't like to discuss when I come on
Mr.
air.
Okay, here is the thing. Because
there are people I don't like to discuss when
there is a video evidence to this on both instances and the responses given. The response given at the time during the campaign and the response given during this particular exclusive interview. And they're saying that, okay, his response was inconsistent. And it's given, will I say, grounds for his political opponents to mudsling. And the idea here is that we clear these issues objectively as best as possible. That's the essence of news analysis, regardless of how anybody thinks or their perception to political issues. It's politics. This is a political conversation.
Excuse me. When the presidential election held in 2023,
okay,
that is February 25, isn't it?
Yes. 2023.
And the president was sworn in May 29.
2023.
So from February to May is how many months?
It's more than a year.
No.
It's more than a year. From February. Oh, okay. We need 2023.
Yes.
Okay. It's almost 3 months.
3 months. A lot of foundation can be laid within 3 months. Understand? So, if we have a thinking president, a lot of when somebody say, I will do that immediately. Immediately means when he comes on board.
Okay.
But before you come on board, there are some things that you must have put.
Okay.
Because I keep on saying that, assuming that Article 1, he can appoint his 36 ministers under 24 hours. Because he knows Nigeria, he has made friends across the Niger. So, the difference between a leader and somebody who is not a leader is first of all, considering the consequences of his action before taking that action.
Okay.
So, if we have a leader that was declared in February 29, he will have used 2 months to think of the consequences of removing this subsidy.
All right.
But this man did not do it.
Now, the reason why we're having this conversation, like I'm reiterating, is that the news must not be the way people want it to be. It is what it is. And that's why we try to clear out some of these instances. It doesn't mean that the information is not true. It doesn't mean that the information is unclear. And the news does not have to sound or come out the way you want it to come out. It's quite important that we put it out there. However, let's listen to his adequate, full response to that particular question when he was asked.
You remove it.
You know, I didn't say from day one, and I wouldn't have done it
From day
just
one.
ordinary announcement.
Okay.
I said, go and read my manifesto. I have to first remove the criminality associated with the subsidy, because the criminality was over 50% of the subsidy. And then after removing it, we would have been able to present a detailed cost to Nigeria and replacing it with an alternative. What happens here is that people are ready to sacrifice.
And they're sacrificing.
No,
now.
but you can't ask people to fast when you're feasting. Everybody have to fast at the same time. So you cannot be in a party, enjoying yourself in picnic and everything, going around with new jets and yachts and everything at the expense of the public. That is not leadership.
Are
It's
you claiming that
hijack of the system.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not giving leadership to Nigeria today?
All right, so that was basically his response to that question as to what would he have done categorically if he was to remove fuel subsidy. And you had that full response in that interview. Again, clarity is of the essence. Mr. Peter Anosike, I'm sure you're aware of what is going on within the Labour Party, the internal wrangling, the situation with the faction of Julius Saburi.
It is happening in every party in the country, even in APC.
And the faction of Nenadi Usman. Now, Peter Obi has written to INEC to recognize Nenadi Usman. I'm sure I and you were right here in the studio just yesterday evening when I played to you where Peter Obi disclosed the essence, the reason for the 29-member committee. Now, in this particular interview, Peter Obi has reiterated his stance that he is going nowhere. He's remaining with the Labour Party. Now, with the back and forth, like I said, anything he discloses, anything he says, either it has been misconstrued by other political party elements to possibly send a wrong message, to possibly, depopulate his personality. What would you advise Peter Obi to do now, considering what is going on and the supposed influence of certain elements against Labour Party, against his person? And what would you advise the Labour Party to do now, considering the fact that that was a party a lot of Nigerians looked up to in 2023?
Well, for me, that to start with, who are what is the reputation of those that are more slinging him? Understand me? That's a saying that if you stop to throw stone at every dog that barks at you, you will not get to where you are you are going.
Going.
So Peter Obi shouldn't be bothering himself about those dogs.
You don't think that will kind
Those paid
Okay.
dogs,
Okay.
those hungry dogs. We shouldn't be bothering ourselves. So for me, all these things, trying that to satisfy those on this in Twitter, I see it as a waste of time.
Okay.
I see it as a waste of time because those people there are idle.
All right.
Busy people, productive people don't spend their time on Twitters.
All right. What would you also advise the Labour Party to do now?
They should remove the chaff among them and march forward. They should remove the chaffs among them, which include Apapa, Abure, Arabambi, and march forward.
In the process of doing that, what legal means can they approach? Because at this moment, they have actually given Julius Abure an ultimatum to either step down gracefully or risk being disgraced. There was a press conference that was held by one of the heads in the committee set up by Nanadi Usman. And the question now is this. Now that Peter Obi has reiterated his stance to remain with the party, and like you said, remove the wheat, all right, from those who are literally shifting the party to a different direction that the party is not supposed to head towards.
Wheat is a good word. I said chaff.
Yes, now
that's what
separate
they
the
are.
wheat. Now you
They are
separate the wheat
chaff.
from
They are
those
the
who are
chaff.
dissuading.
They are-
Now the question is this. How long will it take before it begins to make the party lose support or lose momentum?
One, every party has its own disciplinary committee.
All right.
So that of Labour Party should be active. And the P2B statement that he is going to remain with Labour Party will put more energy, will put more ginger in the party. It will bring more confidence to the party.
Okay. All right. Is that it, Mr. Peter Onosike?
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us your perspective to some of the questions thrown at you on the World News at 6. I sincerely do appreciate your input. Once again, Mr. Peter Onosike, no derogatory statements refer to any individual whatsoever. All right. We're a clean radio station with actual factual information. Thank you so much for taking your time here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, to wrap up here again are the top stories. Peter Obi gives conditions to be vice president in 2027. Monday, Okpebholo sued for alleged age falsification. APC chieftain alleges Tinubu's government running multiple budgets. Omoyele Sowore knocks Tinubu's government. 20-year-old narrates how he killed Kogi Varsity student for money ritual. That's a wrap on the World News at 6. My name is Esther Machuku. Good evening and thank you for listening.